I enjoy chapters like these because they're broken up into two halves and we don't have to follow too many characters or stories at once and we get to see a little bit of everyone.
One Piece, Chapter 563, Pirate Sanji vs. Mystery Man Absalom.
The Sanji show has started. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, and I'm here to bring you another review on the awesome and sexy tale that is One Piece. The events of the last chapter, of course, were really split among several different things. We had not seen in a number of chapters, though, where this chapter picked up, and that's Luffy actually going and starting his fight, his advancement toward trying to beat the shit out of Gecko Moria. That is really the first half of the chapter. It's a tale of two halves, and the first half is, of course, that part where Luffy is fighting Gecko Moria, or Gecko Moria's shadow, I guess I should say, and then ultimately the second half of it is Sanji just mopping the floor with Absalom. So we'll get into the first half first and the second half second, because that's the way I feel like going today, in order. Anyway, like I said, the first half of the chapter, though, very cool, as Luffy decides to start going at and trying to attack Gecko Moria, and he's basically just like, the fuck you can, you ain't never gonna be able to hit me, you're gonna have to fight my shadow. So he goes and he pulls out his shadow doppelganger or whatever, and he's like, there's no way you can even touch me, right? And a lot of what he says is very much the same type of shit that kind of every villain spews, you know? They sort of have that, like, well, I'm invincible now, and you cannot get to me, so I'm gonna go and try to talk some trash to you, and then eventually you're gonna figure out how to get around my temporary invincibility and hit me, and then I'm going to go and complain about it and be shocked, like, what? I couldn't be hit, right? So, anyway, that is really what winds up happening. Luffy is attacking the Shadow to no avail for, you know, several panels, several pages, and, you know, a number of his attacks are just kind of, you know, falling upon and just being not countered, but just stopped in their tracks by the doppelganger shadow of Gecko Moria. Then he winds up going and doing, Luffy goes and grabs onto the ledge and kind of swings down underneath, and Gecko Moria is like, what, he jumped? And he goes to look over, and this is where, you know, it's, oh really, let me leave myself completely open over here. He leans over the railing, and Luffy comes back up and does a stamp on his ass, and BAM! Comes right up through him and jacks him up. Certainly, again, to his surprise, because he's thinking, well, no, nobody could hit me, you know. And then Luffy's like, serves you right, you jerk, saying nobody could hit you. So Luffy's very much, what I find about him is that when you tell him that something can't be done or it has never been done, Luffy's going to figure out a way to do it. And that's really what we see again, that sort of Luffy resilience, that Luffy-alience, if you will. So, the second half of the chapter, though, is very entertaining because the first couple of pages, if you remember, we kind of were left off, you know, Sanji going and popping in, of course, and about to kick Absalom's ass, but he winds up grabbing Nami, and they both start kind of having this verbal joust, but at the same time, it's almost like this, fellow perverts, I guess. Perverts stick together, you know, whatever. Hey, if we're on the, you know, if we're on the FBI watch list, you know, then I guess that makes us brethren. But anyway, Absalom's a dirty pervert. Sanji is, he's our pervert. So that's how I look at it. But anyway, they're going back and forth and talking about how good Nami looks, how she looks like an angel. The only thing that looks good in white is Nami and rice, you know. Oh, amen, brother. And they start kind of going back and forth with these different sayings that they have, professing, of course, their love and infatuation and ultimately perversion towards, you know, females and Nami, of course, in general, and or at least for this specific one. I don't know why I say in general, but I just felt like it. But so that goes on for a little bit, and then Sanji just basically gets tired of him. And he's like, I'm not gonna make friends with you, and he just starts busting Absalom all over the place, man. I mean, he pulls out every damn French word in the book that he can use, coup de this, and he's just kicking him in the throat, punching him in the face. At one point, you know, we get kind of this inner monologue where he's like, I don't even know how they could have moved the boss. He's 500 pounds, you know. I don't know what the deal is. Even Absalom's like, you know, and I was supposed to be putting this, you know, this, my soul, his shadow was put into supposedly this very strong, you know, beast of the wilderness or something with the strength of the wilderness. But it don't matter because Sanji, again, he is a love-struck puppy dog and ain't nothing gonna stop Sanji. Not to mention he a badass and he's fast, you know, and he got curly eyebrows. So that's cool, right? I thought, though, that it was done very well because, you know, I thought it was going to be the typical back and forth, and it may still go into something like that, but at least for right now, it looks like he just cold-cocked and knocked Absalom the fuck out. And again, for me, the real entertaining portion of the chapter was the beginning part of this, the beginning of this section, I guess you would say, where it's Sanji versus Absalom, because it really is just comical to see this banter go back and forth, and how they're like giving these similar type of comments because they both come from the same mind of perversion, but they're enemies, so it's like, wait, hold on a second, no, you're not supposed to agree with me, you know, but it's true, Nami is hot, right? And we all know Nami's hot, it's cool, right? So anyway, the chapter ends off over there. My chapter question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is out of the kind of the tale of two halves that this chapter was, which one did you enjoy more? The battle between Luffy and Gecko Moria starting, which we assume is going to go on for several more chapters, or the battle between Sanji, all very, very one-sided battle between Sanji and Absalom, Absalom's face, I guess, in particular. Let me know what your answer is to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, or just because it's fucking Tuesday. I don't know, right? Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and we look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation.
Thanks for watching. Remember to check out my other channels and follow me on Facebook and Twitter too.